Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working together step by step through each of the ABRSM Theory grades. There are lots and lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll also find there a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find out about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and hints on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time come exam day when you're actually working through your exam paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel and share out the videos. And now we're going to continue with paper C of the 2018 grade 3 practice papers. So if you turn with me to page 12, and we'll start by looking at question 3. Have a go of this on your own first of all. Doesn't matter if you go wrong, you can just rub it out and have another go. It's best to learn that way. And now we'll check through this together. So we're going to have some scales questions here, and then later on we're going to be needing to think about scales as well. And I always recommend that you write out your list of scales, major and minor related keys. You can follow through the circle of fifths to work those out and do all of your thinking in one go. There's more scales than you need here. This is the whole list. If you're not sure how to do that, then I've done a video tutorial on the circle of fifths to help you to work that out, and you'll find the link to that in the description and also in the cards. It's much easier to do your thinking in one go and then you can just refer to that. So if that's the case, you've already done the hard work. Now I do suggest that you always use pencil, and you will need an eraser to hand, because if we work through the steps one step at a time, you will need to just do a bit of rubbing out, but it's best to do that than try and hold too much information in your head. So the first job is to just get the blobs in the right place. So we're using semi-breves or whole notes, so no need to worry about stems. We're starting on G and we are ascending, we're going upwards in the bass clef for 1 octave. So let's start on bottom G, and then line, space, line, space. Remembering scale just literally means step, so we're stepping up the ladder system of the stave, finishing on G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All cows eat grass, we know we're in the right place. So we need to write G melodic minor without a key signature, but we need to bear in mind what that would be. Now G melodic minor is related to B flat major, so it would have a key signature of B flats and E flats. So I'm going to put this in place straight away. I know there will be a bit of rubbing out, but let's just take it one step at a time. If you're not sure about reading in the bass clef, it depends what instrument you play. You could always just sketch the letter names just to help you. Whatever helps make it easy, just get all your thinking simplified. So we need a B flat and we need an E flat. So that's the first part of it. However, the melodic minor in the ascending form has the 6th and the 7th degrees of the scale raised. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6, this is 7. So the E flat needs to be raised, and if you just visualise that, a flat raised becomes a natural. So we need to get rid of that flat now. You can either just leave it as a plain old E, or you could put it with a natural sign, or because that natural sign is kind of redundant, you could put it in brackets to just show you've done your thinking, even though it's not required. So there's the 6th degree raised, and now the 7th degree is an F, natural, and so to raise a natural we add a sharp. So there's our 6th and 7th degree steps raised. So that's now complete. Let's press on. So now we're looking at E major and we're descending, so let's get the blobs in place first. So starting on top E in the treble clef, coming down in step, line, space, line, space, line. So we are descending and we need a key signature. So if you've done all of your thinking, we know that E major has a key signature of 4 sharps, F, C, G, D. So let's pop that in place. F, C, positioning it in the treble clef, and that's job done. So let's press on to the next question. So we need to rewrite this melody, and we're using notes and rests of half the value. So we need to change the time signature, and then we need to be careful to beam the notes correctly, because we always have to beam the notes to reflect each beat. So here we're in 3/4 notes, 3 crotchet beats per bar. We stay in triple time, so still 3 beats per bar, but now we're counting in 1/8 notes or quaver beats, so everything's going to be halved, and we will do that by adding beams and colouring notes in. So we can pop the time signature in. We've done the thinking now. That's 3/8 notes, 3 quaver beats per bar, so 3/8 will be our time signature. And so to halve everything, we're going to add another beam or a tail, an extra tail on everything. And then here, a minim or a half note is halved by becoming a 1/4 note or a crotchet. That will have another beam on, that will have a tail. Here, that will become a quaver or an 1/8 note rest, a tail, another little tail as it were. And that will become coloured in. Instead of being a dotted minim, a dotted half note, it becomes a dotted crotchet. So that's soon done. We've done the thinking now for that. And now this is the really easy part, because in other time signatures we'd have to be careful in the way we beamed or grouped the notes to reflect this new time signature. But if you remember in 3/8, it's easy peasy, because we can just beam everything together, and so we can just slam everything together and job done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the note heads in the right place, and then I'll worry about stems and so on, because we might have some decisions to make with stems going up and down. So I'll worry about that bit afterwards. Let's take it one step at a time. I'm keeping everything reasonably aligned with theirs, that way I won't get lost. I've got enough to be thinking about, and also I know that I'm going to have enough room in the bar and everything's going to be properly spaced out. So I'll just literally copy their example. I can do that straight away. There's the rest. I can do the rest straight away. Just put the note heads, and then I'm free to worry about the stems afterwards. I find it easier to take things one step at a time, and then you won't make mistakes by trying to take on too much at once. So all of these are going to be beamed together. All of these are below the middle line. This is just one step above the middle line, but it's outvoted by these, so everything's going to have the stems going up. And I think I'll just use a ruler here to keep it neat and tidy. General sort of upwards direction. Now I'm just going to keep one line for now, because some of these are only going to need one beam, whereas here these were going to need 2, and in fact these here are going to need 3, aren't they, to be demi-semi-quavers or 32nd notes, and then this one will just have a little extra beam of its own. So here these can all be beamed together just as before, but now they're becoming semi-quavers. Perhaps should have used a ruler there, never mind. That's a triplet. Oh, I've put my blob in the wrong place. There we go, too busy chatting. Now then, we can decide which way. This one can go either way. This one and this one are below the middle line, so they kind of dictate that this one will come down also. These can all be beamed together. These two will be semi-quavers or 16th notes, and then we need this just extra line here. So this one can be on its own. Now here, instead of leaving this one on its own, because we're going to be beaming everything together, what we can do is we can actually beam over the rest. Now these two belong with stems up. This one can go either way, so this one can go stems up, and this one is kind of outvoted by these, so this one will have stems going up. And if we beam over the rest, there's no need to leave that first note all alone. And then what we can do is we can show that there's beat 1, there's beat 2, and there's beat 3. Rather than just putting the line from there, we can show that there, that and that belong together to make a beat. And then there we go, that's that completed. So easy peasy if you just take it a step at a time. Let's look at the next question. So now we've got some intervals to describe. We need to describe these harmonic intervals. They're a harmonic interval because they come together like a harmony or a chord. We're always counting upwards, and we're always counting from the lowest note here. So the first job is to get the number of the beat. So here counting, the only way you can go wrong is if you forget to count this given first note as 1. So 1, 2, 3, counting space, line, space, and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the space, 6 is the line, 7 is the space. So we know it's a seventh of some sort or other. Now then, if you've already done your thinking, you know your key signatures at a quick glance. That's your circle of fifths again. So we know that E major would have a D sharp. E minor does not, because E minor only has F sharps in the key signature. And also remember, major means greater, minor means lesser. So E to D sharp is greater than E to D natural. It's the greater interval. And we know it's part of the major scale, so we know that that's a major seventh because E minor does not have D sharps. So here the number, we're going from C to D, it's a second. We've just gone 2 steps, 1, 2, so that's half marks already. And now we know that C to D is a full step, and it's also part of the major scale as well. It's a greater interval. It would be smaller if we were flattening the D. So we know it's a major second. So even though it's part of C minor, don't presume every interval within a minor scale is a minor interval. It's a major interval from C to D. It's a full step. So that's a major second. Let's look at this next one. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's an octave. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. We've gone from A to A, so we know that's an octave or an eighth, you could say. And we don't need to worry about major or minor because octaves are a perfect interval. So let's count the steps first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's a fifth. And again, fifths are perfect. There's no major or minor. When it comes to fourths, fifths and octaves, they are a perfect interval. And then here, we're starting on the F sharp below middle C. So we've got 1, 2, 3, that's a third. Now then, that's F sharp to A. And if we just look at this, F to A would be a perfect third. We know that F, G, A is part of the F major scale. However, we've made that interval smaller by raising the bottom note. And so F sharp to A is a smaller interval. It's lesser and it's minor. And we also know that that is within the F sharp minor scale pattern. F sharp to A sharp would be the major. It's a lesser interval, and so it's minor. There we go, minor third. And that's the end of that question. I do hope this is helping you. I hope it's helping you to get to grips with this grade 3 music theory. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated, and please do share out the videos. Please also do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the free resource and information that's available there to help you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.